In this lesson, we're going to cover the bend tool. The bend tool allows us to go back and place in bends between two disjointed bodies or faces. The file that we're going to use for this lesson is called bend.ipt, and it can be found in your Chapter 10 exercise folder. Before we place in some bends, let's rotate the model around, and you'll see I have a whole bunch of different disjointed faces here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by placing a bend between this top face here and the bottom face. So from the sheet metal features, I'm going to go down and select on bend, and it's asking me to select two edges, and it doesn't matter which order I select them, and you'll see that I'm going to get a preview of what that bend is going to look like. So for now, let's go ahead and click on apply. And as I rotate the screen around, you can see that it placed in the bend. And since my outside faces were parallel, there really was only one solution for that. So let's rotate the model one more time. And what I want to take a look at is going to be this top disjointed face here. You'll see right now it's pretty much right in the middle of the bottom face. So again, for the edges, I'm going to select the edges that I want to place in the bend. And I have two different options here for the bend extension. The first one is extend. So let's go ahead and click OK. And you'll see what it did is it went back and removed that material for that bend. So let's go back and edit that feature. So I'm just going to double click on it. And let's change the bend extension to extend bend aligned to side faces. Click OK. And you'll see what it did in this case is it went back and it actually trimmed back that bottom face so it's matching up with the existing edge here. Let's take a look at one more example. On the right hand side, again you'll see that we have our disjointed body up on top here. And being that in this case these two planes are parallel, let's see what happens when I go back and select on bend. And I'm going to select on these two edges that are parallel to each other. I have an option here, as you see. It's going back and it's placing in a bend at 90 degrees. So let's go ahead and click on OK. If I again spin that around, you can see that it placed in that bend going in at 90 degrees. Let's go back and edit that bend. And as you can see, I can place this in as a full radius. Click OK. As you can see, we get a very different result by just having the single option selected, in this case, full round. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to go ahead and delete that bend. And let's place in another bend. And what I want to do is I'm going to select an edge on the left-hand side. Now, it doesn't matter if I select the top or the bottom edge, because the result is going to be exactly the same. But now I'm going to come back and select the same edge that we did before. As I spin the model around, you see that we have a couple different ways now of handling this. I can go back and change it to either a fixed edge or at 45 degrees. So let's go ahead with the 45 degrees. Click OK. And you see the result that we get, that it's placing that angle in at 45 degrees, just as the command stated. Let's go back and edit that. With the 45 degree option, I do have an option down here called flipped fixed edges. In this instance here, if I go back and edit that, you'll see that it's maintaining that 45 degrees, but Inventor's allowing me to go back and do it basically into space, and of course that's not going to work out real well, so I'm going to take that back. Or the last option here is I'm going to go ahead and click on fixed edges, and in this case you see what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Z effect. Again, go ahead and click OK. So let me rotate the model around so you can see our different bends that we're creating with different edges. So depending upon the faces that you are working with, if they are parallel to each other or perpendicular with each other, you have many different choices and options for creating different bends.